Welcome to the Black White Soul Wrestling Review. This is going to be for SmackDown, which was aired on the 14th of March. Show started off with the Real Americans coming out for a match against the Rhodes Brothers. I expected better. For how good both these teams are, I think it was a solid match, but not much else to it. Moment of the match was Cody almost dying, diving head first. It looked like it was sort of a crossbody, but then turned head first. Then Cesaro saved Cody's life. Managed to catch him literally centimeters before his head smashed into the ground, only to then deliver a tilt-em-whirl slam to the apron, which was a beautiful spot, not seen before. I love Cesaro. I would happily kiss that bald head of his. As the match goes on, Jack Swagger and Cesaro start having a bit of a tiff. Blind tagging each other, showing off in front of each other. This sign of their unity dissolving was enough of a chance for Cody Rhodes to get a roll up and pin Swagger. Want to keep Cesaro strong, so that was a good choice. Then I thought this would result in sort of a altercation between Cesaro and Swagger, but no, it led to a beatdown of the Rhodeses. So they're showing the cracks, but they're not ready to completely split them yet. Usos surprisingly came out for the save, so this, to me, looks like they could be heading into a title match at Mania. And then, if they lose to the Usos there, that will make the breakup happen. So, I think I'd actually prefer that. A good title match for the Usos at Mania, make the Usos look strong, and then also start the breakup of the Real Americans. Let's see what happens. The boss, the game, comes out, and for... I won't swear here, but I'm so happy he's finally decided he's heel. I know he's sort of been heel most of the time, but then they'd suddenly switch around and be face, and not every segment in a show would seem to line up, because they'd spend one where they'd then start belittling Randy Orton, making them sort of be a bit more fair and just. No, Triple H, full on heel, good, this is what we need, especially going into Mania. Telling the fans, Daniel Bryan's not there tonight, he's going to sort him out on Raw, setting up for the next show, which is what you want to do. I think he should have made a bigger deal of the fact that he so readily accepted Daniel Bryan's request for him getting into the title match if he beat Triple H. This is basically what the whole community has wanted. But Triple H should be playing it up as, why wouldn't I accept his challenge? Because there's no way he's going to get past me to get into that title match. He did say it a little bit, but I thought that should have been more the emphasis. But good, blaming the people. Say he's going to end their dreams. Daniel Bryan is the closest they're going to get to a title. And then the weird bit calling out Damien Sandow, one of your companies, or used to be a big heel, now he seems to job to Darren Young. Still, at least Sandow's on TV. Makes him apologise, which he does, and then gives a match against the Shield. Yeah, weird segment, I don't really know where they're going to be going with this. I just can't see Sandow as a face. He is such a good heel. Reminds me of the Genius. Look it up. 1980s wrestling. But yeah, Sandow loses to Seth. And it's actually a really good match between these two. I wasn't expecting much from them, so maybe that was part of it. But yeah, good solid match. Looks like the Shield are going to start arguing because Ambrose isn't putting his fist in. But he only does that so they can all get the triple beat down on Sandow, delivering the triple powerbomb, showing that the Shield are a really good solid unit. After this, we have Fandango versus Big E. Both of them are going to be in the Andre Invitational, so it just gets them a showing. Fandango had a little walk to the ring promo in the corner. And Big E gets the win, which he should, because he is the Intercontinental Champion. Without that secondary title, this title should mean something, but they're doing nothing. There should be an Intercontinental match at WrestleMania. I hope afterwards they start sorting this situation out. Then after that, we get a laptop that doesn't listen to me. Bad news, Barrett. Is he injured? I haven't heard of an injury. I haven't heard of why he's not wrestling. The bad news gimmick is just not... It doesn't have a point. There's just no... Yeah, it's a meme. But they don't have a wrestler dressed up as Nyan Cat running to the ring. That would be the best gimmick ever, and then he could have a match with El Torito. New WrestleMania main event, El Torito versus another mini lucha dressed as Nyan Cat. Anyway, that has about as much point as Wade Barrett's Bad News Barrett segments. Which is then followed by Bray versus Kofi. Good showing for Bray. He was a lot more explosive and fast in this match, which is good. His solo match against Reigns was a bit disappointing. But yeah, he's really picking up his speed and pace, and he's getting a good selection of power moves. I really do like the Uranagi Slam. Rock bottom without falling down with them. But yeah, good solid match. Shows why it's so strong. Sorry, Kofi. Right. And that concludes our first half. We are back. Backstage with the Shield and Kane. A little bit of tension between the Shield and Kane at the moment. He seems to be pushing his authority, and the Shield seem to only just listen to Triple H when it suits them. So this will carry on from last week, where they sort of took the mick out of him, and they were being dissed by Kane, sort of trying to get the fire lit back under them and get them on the same page. But Kane's got a match going up at the Big Show. He wants them to come out with them, and they're like, well, it's because you want us to beat Big Show for you. So it's just giving us a little teaser of what's going to come in the main event. Divas match. And my God, Nikki versus Tamina Snuka was a good Divas match. I just don't have any complaints. AJ on commentary for a little bit. And yeah, the girls went at it. Nikki Bella has shown she is a solid, good wrestler. And given her current performance, if she can get a few more good matches under her belt, I think her and AJ could have a decent match at WrestleMania if they don't get kicked off the show. But we'll have to see. This was just getting Nikki over, did its job, and she showed and reminded us that divas can be good and should be held to the same standard as the male wrestlers. After this, Dolph Ziggler versus Alberto Del Rio. Oh, Del Rio suffers so much without Ricardo. Ricardo was his gimmick, and without it, I find Alberto just boring. But in ring, he is decent enough, and him and Ziggler, I think they have good chemistry together. Not as good as their matches last year, but that's when Ziggler was super hot and they let him have the title and then took it away. But glad to be seeing Ziggler getting some matches again after being completely ignored. And he's just, as always, going for it. These two have a good solid match, and Ziggler gets another win under his belt. Then they also give him a little bit of time to do a promo. And it's just good. He's just got so much passion in his promo and in his in-ring style. And he did a really good job of hyping up the Andre thing. I hope they give it to Ziggler. I don't know who else will be in this, but I'd really like it if Ziggler could win this. He sort of deserves something. After that, we got Kane versus The Big Show, our main event of the night. We've seen a lot of Big Show Kane matches over the years, and this was just their match by numbers. Shield are there, but they're not really doing anything. They're just mocking Kane more than anything. Big Show Kane go through their routine. Big Show rolls to the outside and then has the amazing idea of getting back up the ring steps, leaning over because he's a bit out of breath, and then climbing to the top rope, because we all know how solid Big Show's top rope moves are, how well they always go off, and I don't know, maybe this is a tribute to Ric Flair and his high-flying abilities. But in fairness though, he does fly off the top rope because Kane grabs him by the throat and chokeslams him off. Which I won't lie, I thought that could have been the end, but kick out. Kane... Yes, sorry. Kane then tells the Shield to get him. Have a little bit of an argument with Seth. They get up on the ring apron. Big Show's slowly getting to his feet. And then Seth's like, nah, down. And the Shield back off. Big Show hits a chokeslam win, which I much prefer. The knockout punch, it's got its merits, but I don't think a wrestler should have a punch as a finisher unless it's some sort of flashy flip in it or some weird rotation. Just having a punch, it's just why would you not start the match with that if that's your finisher? But that's just my gripe with it. Big Show wins. Yeah. Maybe him and Kane can have a match at WrestleMania. I sure as hell hope not. And I don't think that will lead to anything in the future. The main thing that this shows is just, again, the Shield seem to be completely on the same page, and they're just teasing that break. We sort of had it a couple of weeks ago, and now again they're solid again. So who knows? They might actually have a 3-on-3 against someone at WrestleMania, then split off, but seems weird they're doing that at the same time as the Real Americans, but we'll have to see what Raw brings. That is all we have for tonight. So, until next time, TTFN.